Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for joining us. It is June the 1st, and we are live here every Saturday morning for the Minnesota Real Estate Show, hosted by Mr. Mike Overson of Luminate Home Loans, Scott Wollmering, and myself, Ryan O'Neill of the Minnesota Real Estate Team. RE/MAX Advantage Plus. We hope your weekend is starting off well. And again, we're live here at WCCO, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Excited in studio today. We've got Mr. Ruben Saltzman, the owner of Structure Tech as well. Scott, Ruben, good morning to you guys.
Morning. How you doing today?
Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for being here, Mr. Scott. Good to see you, dude.
Good to see you, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Like Ryan said, this is Minnesota Real Estate Show. We're going to get rolling here pretty quick. 612-294-6949 is how you can join us by text or phone call during the whole show. Like Ryan said, we are going to get into everything real estate related, but we always have a fun question. The question this week, with everybody going to cabins and traveling across the country, what is your go-to snack on a family road trip? So when you, so for those of us that have a ton of kids, Ruben, myself, we definitely have those go-to snacks. So what is the go-to snacks on a family road trip?
Hey, we're going live on air here on, again, WCCO, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Thanks for joining us on social media, wherever you're catching us. And again, it's June, Ruben, it's June.
Woo!
Here we go. We're going live.
Here.
Well, good morning and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for joining us, everybody, and I hope your weekend is starting off well. It is June the 1st, 2024, and we are live here for the Minnesota Real Estate Show, a local show, real estate show, hosted by Mr. Mike Overson of Luminate Home Loans, Scott Wollmering, and myself, Ryan O'Neill of the Minnesota Real Estate Team and RE/MAX Advantage Plus. We appreciate you joining us, and we always welcome questions by text or by phone. 612-294-6949 is how you can reach us. 612-294-6949 anytime throughout the show. Questions, comments. Scott, good morning to you there, buddy. Nice to see you.
Yeah, good to be here. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Like Ryan said, this is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We're about to dive into kind of everything we do every week. We're about halfway, for real estate agents. The end of May is kind of our 6-month period, even though the end of June is actually 6 months. And we're going to talk about what has kind of happened through the year and then kind of what we see maybe happening in the last, 4, 5, 6 months of the year and how we're going to end up.
Yeah, again, appreciate you joining us here on CCO. Excited to have our friend and longtime partner, the owner of Structure Tech, Mr. Ruben Saltzman here. Ruben, good to see you, bud.
Good to see you too, Ryan. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, always a pleasure to have Ruben. He is no stranger to the airwaves, and you got a lot of good stuff today, don't you?
Oh, I got a lot to talk about. We got the show is 3 hours, right?
Yes. Okay. Well, at the halfway point, and then we have a break, and then we come back.
All right. We will have no trouble filling that time.
Yeah, again, 612-294-6949 is how you can join us at any point. We do like to do a real estate update and a mortgage update. Scott, I'll share the numbers here in the Twin Cities. New listings were down slightly, so new homes for sale down 2.7% year over year, 1,646 new properties. Pending sales also down slightly, down 4.9%, 1,028 pending sales. And then the overall inventory is up 17%, 8,234 homes for sale. When we look at, it's interesting, when we look at the pending sales over a 3-month period. So those are accepted offers in the Twin Cities. Pending sales over a 3-month period, guys, are actually, let me look at that. They're actually up 3.6%. So this year there are 3.6% more sales, 12,479. Scott, we felt that. I think the market has felt it, a little bit more activity. Again, last year was an abnormally slow year for the business.
Yeah, it was. I mean, well, last year, I don't know the numbers, if we're up 17%, there was probably around 6,000, 6,500 homes on the market last year. But our low point last year was about 4,800. So, right now we're at 8,000. And so people might feel pretty good about that. We're starting to get some inventory back. Remember that 19,000 homes on the market is a balanced market. So we're still in a heavy seller's market. But the difference in this, if interest rates were at 4.5% and we had 8,000 homes on the market, your homes would, you get 50 showings in a week and whatever. What is slowing this market down is that rates are hanging around that 7% mark. And so people are taking a breath. And so it's not as aggressive it is. And that's why our inventory continues to go up. And Ryan and I have kind of disagreed about this a little bit through the year. Ryan believes that more inventory will help the market. And I do to a point.
Yeah, more inventory,
More
Scott.
inventory to a point. But if we don't have a correlation between more inventory and a little bit of love on the interest rates, then that 8,000 becomes 10,000, and that 10,000 becomes 12,000, and then all of a sudden we got a little bit of a problem. My opinion.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. It is interesting what when we look, Ruben, when we look at the market, what's just, you think about over the 20 years of almost doing this show, every market has different types of challenges. And what's really interesting about this one is, again, every week I get 4, 5, 10 buyer need emails.
Yes.
I have a buyer. There's nothing out here. Help me. I have a buyer need. They're pre-approved. They're ready to buy something, and there's nothing out there. And then in the same breath, I'll get an email or a phone call from an agent that just said, "Hey, I'm not getting any showings on my listing."
And that is the rub.
Wow.
What I believe is happening in this market is that it's a combination of, I don't like my payment at 7%, and I definitely don't like what I'm having to buy for that payment. And so I think the reason that we're seeing homes sit is the good ones, great location, perfect, no chinks in the armor, everything's awesome. Those still go right away. But if there's any little bit of a chink, biggest one being you're trying to be a little aggressive on price, maybe it's a rambler that's not a walkout, all these things that, when you got interest rates of 4.5% don't matter. Now they're starting to matter. So people are taking a beat. And that's why you're like, my gosh, 8,000 homes, everything should be in multiples. And to Ryan's point, it's not.
Yeah, again, pricing is super important. Pricing very, very important to not overprice. And again, we're going to talk more about the market, but I think, I know we were talking a little bit over before the show. We just over the years have had friends from different brokerages and agents who will occasionally tune into the show. And I think sometimes it can be unsettling as agents when you have challenges with the market. I think the reality of it is every market, there are challenges with it. So this year's no different. This year is no different. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. Interest rate update. Again, Mike Overson, Luminate Home Loans, as Scott noted, rates are in the low 7s still. And so it kind of is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah, that's where they've been.
Yeah, that's where it is. And that's, I think, what's holding it down. I know we're up against our first break, so I thought I'd send out our fun question that we like to do every week. This week, it's an easy one. What is your go-to snack or snacks on a family road trip? So all the parents out there with kids, when you know you're going to have them in the car, you want to keep them happy. What are the snacks that you get before you hit the road trip?
Cool.
You can text us 612-294-6949.
Go-to snacks.
Go-to snack.
Hey, before the break, this week again, we always like to feature some of the great listings of the Minnesota real estate team, RE/MAX Advantage Plus. David Myers got one in Eagan, 1621 City View Drive for $260,000. It is an end unit tucked into the development. It's in a great Eagan location. David says, cozy up to the wood-burning fireplace, lots of wildlife in the area. It's a comfortable living space, well-maintained, lower-level family room, private patio to enjoy the wildlife, great value for the money. David says $260,000, 1621 City View Drive in Eagan. Be sure to check that property out. Folks, again, this is the Minnesota Real Estate Show on WCCO. Thanks for tuning in on social media. We do appreciate it, and happy to have you here. Happy to have our friend Mr. Ruben here as well from Structure Tech. You've been so patiently waiting and listening. Ruben, always a pleasure to have you on, bud.
Pleasure to be on. Love being here with you guys.
Yeah. Ruben is, for those that have followed him over the years, he has always been a source of great information through the Star Tribune, through radio. You did the Charles Thayer's All Around Home Improvement Hour. Really, you guys are all about providing great information.
Yeah. I mean, I like to joke that we're an education company disguised as a home inspection company.
Right.
They have stolen a tagline a little bit from another company with that one, but still, it applies.
Had a comment, fruit snacks.
Fruit snacks, young kids. It's an absolute.
Now,
Go
I'm
ahead.
curious. Is that pre-packaged, like the ones that come in a
Yes.
container and you rip it open? It's kind of like a gummy. Is that what
Yes.
you're talking about?
Yes,
It-
fruit
it-
snacks.
it is.
Okay,
You rip
all
to do it correctly. You rip the corner of the bag open. Are you a corner of the bag open, or do you do like my family does, which is you just are so excited about eating it, you just rip it so the whole side.
Just
splits.
open entirely.
You just open it entirely.
Yes. Yes. Just open it up entirely.
Not me. I have a little slot so I can control the fruit snacks.
Yeah, that's good.
Smart.
Yes.
It's good stuff. It is, again, when we look at the market and we talk about the market, Ruben, again, we said from an agent deal standpoint, up 3% over 3 months. Are you feeling that too with Structure Tech
We're
with the
feeling
business?
it for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we are at capacity right now. We're not even handling the business that's coming in right now. It'd be really great if I had about 2 or 3 more home inspectors right now.
Really?
Yeah, it would be nice. But the problem is that to hire somebody on and train them, it's about a 4 to 6 month process.
Yeah.
And if I were to bring a couple people on right now, I'd have them just up and running as soon as the market really starts to slow down. So
Interesting.
it doesn't work. I mean, we gotta plan way in advance. So we'll surely be hiring this fall, but there's nothing we can do for this year.
Yeah, that is the interesting thing with the real estate market, as Ryan was saying earlier. When you've been doing it as long as we have, you have seen up and down markets, and like what you're referring to is 2022. I think I did 1 home inspection all year. In the first 24 years I worked, I always had a home inspection.
Because
Sure.
everybody skipped them, right?
Well, sure, because
Yeah.
interest rates were at 2.8%. So when there's 30 offers on, you couldn't get a home inspection through.
Yes.
And so obviously that's not a good market. That's not anything that anyone would want. Or, we go back to the 2006 to 2012 days, where as an agent, you'd have, 20, 30, 40 listings, whatever you had. And between all of them, you might get, 1 or 2 showings every month, maybe on
Yeah.
the house. And so what's a worse market? Competing against 35 offers on a property and writing 15 purchase agreements before you can get one through, or having a seller that calls you and says, we haven't had a showing on our house in 60 days. What are you doing, Scott?
Well, I also think it's important too. It drives home, it reinforces to sellers, who are you hiring to list your home? What is he or she doing from a marketing perspective? How are you being advised on pricing?
Yeah.
Again, during COVID, there wasn't a lot of that you had to do as a real estate agent. It was just everything selling real quickly.
Throw it
Now
out
things are
there
happening.
and
Yeah,
you're
now
gonna get
things,
offers.
but it is interesting, the buyer need thing. I just can't believe the number of those emails we get with buyer needs. I have someone in Maple Grove up to 500,000. They're looking for this. There's nothing out there.
And then you pull Maple Grove and there's 25 homes on the market, but they're not interested in those 25 homes.
Sure.
And that's the thing that I think is the disconnect here. I know we're up against or back on the market or back on the show.
Here we go. We're going back live on air on WCCO. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hope your weekend is going well. Hey, welcome back to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Hope your June is starting off well. We're into June already and summer, the summer season. We've got Ruben Saltzman, Structure Tech, on today. Before we dive in with Ruben, we've got another, this is a cool property in Minneapolis, 401 South 1st Street, number 1218 in Minneapolis. It's 319.9. David Babcock has this one listed. He said it's a rare opportunity to own a 1-bedroom with 2 parking spots. It's a condo in the River West, situated along the Mississippi River. It's got an unobstructed panoramic view of downtown. You can see from the comfort of your 12th floor balcony. And the River West has many amenities, including a private dog park, outside pool, grilling, complete fitness area, many more. Really a cool property. Check out the photos. 401 South First Street, number 1218 in Minneapolis, 319.9. Condos. Ruben, do you do many condo home inspections?
We do a ton of condo home inspections. There's so much to look at in a condo. I mean, you're not looking at all of the common areas, but all of the interior stuff. I mean, plumbing, electrical, all the cabinets, and maybe the heating system. I mean, there's still a lot of stuff that we need to look at. Any of that stuff goes wrong inside the paint, essentially, is the way we think about ownership for a condo. All of that is the homeowner's responsibility. So there's still a ton that can go wrong on those. Absolutely.
Well, I also think, Ruben, in your business, at least how I talk with my clients about this, in a condo, there's obviously it's an educated risk, because there is less things that can go wrong with a condo than there can when you have a basement and you have a roof and et cetera. But a lot of inspections, I always tell, it's also the education of learning how everything in your home works.
Yes.
So this is how your heating system works. This is what happens. This is what you should do with your dampers. This is what you should do with whatever. And so, especially for a lot of homeowners, it's just learning about what their new place has.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of them have water heaters. A lot of them have their own furnace, their own air conditioner. You got to change your furnace filter. I mean, there's a lot of maintenance that's still required, even if it's a condo. Yeah.
It seems like that would be one where some buyers would say, "Hey, I want to skip. It's a condo. You know, I don't need to do that, or I can do that on my own." How about attics? Talk about attics. I was thinking about attics, and
started on attics. Oh my goodness. yeah. I'm passionate about attics.
That must be fun, like at a home inspector cocktail party where someone says, "Hey, did you see any attics?" And everybody goes, "Oh my gosh,
yeah,
don't get me going on attics."
Clears the room. Oh, here we go.
Here we go on attics again.
Yeah. I mean, I've been blogging for probably 15 years now. I've probably written about attics more than any other topic. There's so much. Oh, absolutely. Because it's the one area that nobody gets to see. A lot of people have never even seen the inside of their own attic. I remember growing up, never saw what my attic looked like in the house I grew up in. And there's so much that can go wrong up there.
I spent a ton of time in our attic, but it was a discipline thing my dad had.
Yeah, that's just what I was thinking.
So it wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
It was actually kind of sad. What happened is Scott, as a high school student, he was up there, Ruben, and he had a little bed in the corner. And what was really sad is occasionally, he would kind of sneak down sometimes. Like one time when he went to prom, he would kind of sneak out of there.
Yeah, get back in that attic.
And he had insulation on him and stuff. And it was really weird, but that's all right. We love him and support him.
Yeah, we do. And he's getting over it.
Oh, yeah. Years of therapy later, I'm over it.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, even on new construction inspections, it's extremely important to get up inside that attic. I mean, we find broken trusses. We find bathroom exhaust fans that are disconnected. Maybe they connected it to the terminal, but then it's fallen down. We found many new construction homes where they completely forgot the insulation in the attic.
I just had one.
Really?
Where there was literally no insulation in the attic, and it was in the attic. In the attic. There was no insulation in the attic.
Was it forgot?
It was just forgotten. It was forgotten or missed, or not every sub is as conscientious as they should be.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's exactly it. And you'd think, well, how could this even happen? I mean, it's new construction. It gets inspected at every step along the way. I was at a conference many years ago, and there was this guy from California talking about the importance of using an infrared camera, and he's saying, in California, there's no such thing as an attic inspection on new construction. The building official doesn't even go up there. And I was like, oh, these guys are nuts. I know we do it in Minnesota. And then I was like, I think we do it in Minnesota.
Well, and here's why an attic inspection is important. I'll give you one example. I'm sure you've got 100 of them. I had a home listed in Apple Valley, beautiful home. They put about $300,000 in a 1970s Rambler to remodel their kitchen. So commercial grade kitchen, incredible. And home spotless also. So sells in the first day, multiple offers. Anyways, at the inspection, the inspector goes up in the attic, and it looked like you had literally put sod on the floor and the ceiling of the attic.
Stop.
Because what they had done when they put in this new grade commercial kitchen is they didn't vent the 1970s home to take into consideration all of the moisture and whatever. Oh, but again, there's some inspectors, they don't go in the attic. And it was an $18,000 fix. Well, I mean, it was major expense.
You say some. I got back from this conference and I called the 20 largest building inspection departments in the Twin Cities.
I believe it,
Minneapolis,
knowing
St. Paul.
you.
I called every one of them. And I said, what is your process for new construction? How do you inspect the attic? Every single one of them had the same answer. We look at the certificate left behind by the insulation contractor.
Wow.
They don't go up there.
Okay.
Can
Interesting.
you believe that?
No.
Very
New
interesting.
construction, there's no such thing as an attic inspection. Nobody looks up there.
And so, from a homeowner standpoint, existing homeowner, what can they do?
If you're a homeowner, if you had a home inspection, hopefully your home inspector got up in the attic and you should kind of be good to go. I mean, it's still a good idea to stick your head in the attic in the dead of winter. I mean, wait until we've got a nice long cold snap where it's been about -10 every day for about a week, something like that.
Yeah.
Stick your head up in the attic and make sure you don't have a winter wonderland.
Mm,
If you've got problems, and we can talk more about this on a future show with what causes these problems,
yeah.
you'll have all kinds of frost in the attic. But we don't want to think about that today. I mean, it's summer. Let's not think about that. But check on it periodically. But here's the important part. If you're buying a house, make sure that your home inspector can get up inside that attic. And this is one of the biggest problems we run into as home inspectors is having attic access
Yeah.
panels that we can't get at.
Mm,
Either it's in a closet and the homeowner's got all this shelving installed and they've got it completely filled with their personal stuff, or the attic access panel is screwed shut, or it's caulked shut, or it's nailed shut.
will you move stuff, Ruben, like in that case? Or, I mean, obviously, will you ask the homeowner, hey, can we move these 15 boxes?
If it's at all reasonable, heck yes, we will move it.
Yeah.
I just went on an inspection with one of my guys earlier this week, and what I'm describing is exactly what we had. We had a closet, it's filled to the brim, and I said, Eric, you keep doing your thing. I'm going to help you out. I'll spend the next 10 minutes clearing all this stuff out of there. And I laid it all out exactly the way that it was, took the shelves down. We got in the attic. We put it all back exactly the way it was. Nobody will ever know we got up there. But heck yeah, if it's reasonable, we are more than happy to move that stuff.
Well, and I always have my clients do a home inspection on all new construction, and what I have them do is I have them do it about 2 or 3 days before the final punch list walkthrough is going to be, and it works really well to be able to, because a lot of times it's not the builders trying to get away with something, things get missed,
Sure.
and so if you have the inspector in before the punch list, then you can just add, oh, the inspector found that these windows weren't dog-eared correctly, or the sump pump isn't connected, whatever it is. And so then when they're doing your final punch list before you close on it, all of these items are taken care of.
Hey, we're up against the halfway point here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Before we break, I've got another nice listing. This one's in Brooklyn Park, 8831 North Brook Circle, for $385,000. Anthony Giron, with the Minnesota Real Estate team and Remax Advantage Plus, has this. It's a 5-bed, 2-bath home, fully renovated, 2-car garage. It's got a very modern kitchen, a new deck as well. $385,000 for 8831 North Brook Circle in Brooklyn Park. Again, this is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. You're welcome to join us at any point. 612-294-6949. We'll be back here on WCCO.
Now, when we get back,
Yeah. What do you?
I feel like we're leading up. This is a whole joke, and we're coming to the punchline on it.
Yes.
For attic inspections, because I want to talk about what it says in the standard purchase agreement form
Mm.
on inspecting attics.
Oh, good.
Because that changed about 4 years ago, or 8 years ago. And I'd love to chat about it with
Let's
you
do it.
guys.
Yeah, let's do it. Hey, got to give a shout out, fellow agent, broker, Mark DePonte, outstanding agent with Keller Williams. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. As always, we appreciate you. We appreciate you listening to
I
the
thought you
show.
were going to say his favorite road trip snack is fruit snacks.
Fruit snacks.
So far, that's been the winner, fruit snacks.
Fruit snacks is the winner. Ruben, you got anything hot button?
Well, I asked about fruit snacks because one of my favorite things is like cut up a huge bowl of watermelon.
Now you can't have the make it at home. The make it at home.
He's
cake.
healthy.
I'm talking about when you go to Holiday.
No,
before
look at
the
him
trip.
though. Look at he's
There's not a single thing I would get out of Holiday. I'm sorry.
really.
Nothing. Maybe a banana.
Yeah,
No.
you are a healthy guy though.
I
You're a health
decided
nut.
healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott is not a health
It's
nut.
all prepared at home. I'm sorry.
Well,
Yeah.
this is so mine. I have 2 of them. for snacks on a road trip. One is high chews.
Oh yeah.
You know what high chews are?
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like
What is that?
It's like a
like
rolled.
a Starburst.
Yeah, it's like a
isn't it?
rolled up Starburst, except with better flavor. They're good. So if
Yeah.
you've never had a high chew, HICHEW, that's a perfect road trip. And then for us also was Sour Patch Kids.
Oh yeah.
Sour
Okay.
Patch.
Those are really
Those
good.
were the two.
All right. Okay, gotta get something today. We're going trail mix.
Yes, trail
Okay,
mix.
trail
Perfect.
mix. Ryan, what about you?
I was thinking Scott would go beef jerky.
Oh no, that's also there.
Oh,
I know it is.
yes.
Beef jerky or string cheese.
Yes, those are also there.
Or maybe a hot dog.
Not going to eat hot.
Okay, all
And
right.
that's where I kick in. That's where I kick
I wanted to
into
see
the-
your
to the
expression.
healthy.
I'm kidding. We're losing listeners. Hey, we try to keep it fun here and lively. Hey, what do you think? You're watching. We got folks watching. What do you think? What do you like? What do you like? What's your go-to? Yeah, guys. It's interesting as we get into the second half of the year here. What we think is going to happen. Interest rates are just kind of hanging around where they are. Ruben with a home inspection company. My gosh, at capacity. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Was last year your worst year ever in the history of Structure Tech?
We were growing steadily for a
Yeah.
long time, and 21 was like the best.
Yeah.
And then 22 and 23 were both about the same. They were both a step down, which we weren't used
Not
to.
super bad though.
It was.
Well, 22 had to be bad.
Yeah.
Nobody
It was
got
not
an-
great.
Yeah, nobody got an inspection
Yeah.
in 22.
Well, that's when you got out of the attic and the insulation was.
I walked into the world and I was like, wow, this is a really busy real estate market.
It really was interesting. Scott does his phone calls up there. He's got kind of stuff falling off him a little bit, and
Yeah.
it's a little weird, Ruben.
Yes.
Yeah.
The,
He lost his train
I
of
lost
thought
my train
now.
of thoughts, but I was thinking about attics, and it is interesting how many, like I said, how many inspectors do not go up there. And
Are
how
you talking about private home inspectors?
I'm talking about private homes.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
Give me their names.
Yes,
Yes.
I will. I'll put a,
Ruben
I'll
will
put,
call
I'll
them.
put a,
I'm
I'll put
gonna
a
call
black.
them.
I'll put a blacklist together.
Oh,
Ruben's gonna call him.
Yeah. We're gonna have words.
Here we go. We're going back live on CCO. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hope your weekend's going well. Feel free to comment at any time with questions or thoughts. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Got a nice listing, Scott. This one's in Golden Valley, 2141 Scott Avenue North for $625,000. Adam Benedict has this listed, and there was a price reduction of a price improvement of $25,000. The list price is $625,000 right now. Adam said the lower level includes a massive storage utility space that can be used as is, or a unique opportunity to finish, adding equity, an additional 1,000 square feet. All kitchen appliances were replaced in 2021. New carpet, water heater in 2023, 4 bedrooms on the main level, including a king-size primary, updated full bath, and no neighbors in front of the home and access to the beautiful bike trails behind the home. Scott likes the no neighbors thing, don't you?
I do. Yeah, I've always said through the years, the perfect neighbor is the one that you see in the driveway at the beginning of the morning and at the end of the day, and they just wave, "Hey, Scott,
You're
how's
terrible.
it going, Jim?"
And I'm the opposite.
You're the opposite. Oh my
I
God.
totally am.
I know. No, that's the perfect neighbor to me. It is one of the things we never talk about because you don't know is when you buy a house and then you move in,
Yeah.
you don't know what your neighbors are going to do.
What are you getting into?
Yeah, what are you getting into? And sometimes by luck, like I think of the second home that Andrew and I built was in a neighborhood in Prior Lake. It's actually called Carriage Hills, obviously still there. And when we moved in, it was a new construction neighborhood.
Yeah.
And you could not do your driveway of snow. If you got out to do your own lawn, you were lucky. If you had rocks delivered, 15 guys from every house came out.
Really?
And, I mean, literally. So and every single night there was a bonfire in the back of someone's yard.
That's fun.
It was just one of those neighbors that you lucked into, and it was such a fun neighborhood. Everybody was so conscientious. And then we've had the reverse of that, where you move somewhere and it's not the same. But yeah, you get lucky sometimes, but there's no way to predict that. Like, is this a good neighborhood or is it not?
Yeah, it is. It is hard to know. And I think it's, Ruben, it's a really important thing when you think about it. And everybody's got a different preference with it. I am more social. I like to know my neighbors,
Yes.
and there's not a obviously right or wrong answer. Some people are very private and they're like, look, don't bother me. This is my safe space, my quiet spot. I don't want to talk to people. Had a lot of neighbors like that too. You are an outgoing neighbor, I can tell though. If we were
I like
neighbors,
to get to know my neighbors. Absolutely. I was doing an inspection with one of my guys not long ago, and we're up on the roof, and the neighbor comes over. He's like, "So what are you guys doing? Oh, do you know how to get in here?" And he starts offering how to open stuff up. And he's like, "I got the code if you need this." And he's giving us all this help. And I'm like, "This is a fantastic neighbor. I want to be your neighbor.
Yeah.
I want neighbors just like that." But I don't think you'd appreciate that. Maybe
Yeah.
you wouldn't want
yeah,
Yeah, no, I mean, it depends on the neighborhood because one of the last neighborhoods, Ryan was at this house. It was in Credit River. I was very close with all the neighbors there. It was our kids were in that, 8 years old to 12 years old range, and a lot of the kids were that age. So we were really friendly. But yeah, when you're, I don't know, with me, especially when you work a lot. When I get home, I don't want to sit around my driveway and talk for 15 minutes with Bob next door
yeah.
or Joe.
That's terrible,
I know,
Scott.
it's horrible.
Six-
I'm just being truthful.
That's from the years up in the attic.
That's right.
And that
I
insulation.
never talked to
But
anybody.
speaking of attics, we got to get to the punchline of this because the purchase agreement in Minnesota has specific instructions regarding this, Ruben.
Ryan, oh my goodness, I'm so glad you touched on that. Great point. Yeah, I mean, I've been harping on this for a long time. And then back in 2016, the standard purchase agreement form, are you required to use the standard purchase agreement form, or does everybody just do it because everybody does it?
Well, so on the MLS, when you become a realtor in Minnesota, you become a member of, in the Twin Cities, what's called North Star MLS. And with that MLS access to look at properties, there's tools. One of the tools is what's called Instanet or Authentisign Transaction Desk. It's all the forms from the Minnesota Realtor Association.
Okay.
So what happens if you're working with an agent, they have access to that and they're using, I'd say the vast majority of transactions, everybody uses those docs.
That's what it seems like. And I wasn't sure if it was required or it's just everybody does it because it's there. I kind of assumed that was it. So what it comes down to is everybody uses the same form. They changed this form back in 2016 and they added a line on there. And man, I celebrated when they added this. It was under the inspection section and it says, seller will provide access to attics and crawl spaces. This is in the form. A little known line that nobody knows about, but man, did I party when I heard about this. Because I'm like, all of our problems are going to go away now.
Well, I can't even imagine if like that came out the same time you were having an inspection cocktail party. Because I mean, my gosh, you guys would be high-fiving.
Oh, we were.
Yeah,
It was
you
great.
were.
It was
I bet you
great.
were.
Yeah, we are such geeks. But so this line comes in there. All right, now the seller is contractually obligated to provide access to their attic and crawl space. We're not going to have any more problems. But then in reality, what it turns out is nobody knows it's there. Nobody reads it. It's just another line that everybody glosses. You're looking at it.
Yeah,
It's
line
there.
182.
182.
Line
yeah.
182, seller will provide access to attics and crawl space. And I'd agree, not a common thing. I don't remember the last question I've had from anybody about this.
I had no idea it was in the purchase agreement.
Yeah.
I always tell my sellers you have to give the inspector access to the attic.
Yeah.
But I actually never knew that it was written in the purchase agreement.
I'm glad to hear this. Now, everybody
Well, I've only been doing it for 25 years. Maybe I should read. Maybe I should read the thing once.
No, don't feel bad. Nobody knows about this. Now, a line I'm sure you guys do know about. There's a line on there that says seller will allow for an intrusive inspection.
Yes.
You know about that one because
Oh,
they
yeah.
got to check
Yeah.
yes or no. Now, here's my dream. Tell me what you guys think about this. What if we were to change that form and there was a line on there that said seller will or will not provide access to the attic? They have to check a box. How great would that be? That would turn this all upside down and everybody would know about it. And now you're being proactive about it. What do you think?
Well, we know people from the MLS listen to the show, so I think it is. Every year there are changes to the forms every year, and I think that would actually be a very good change. I don't know why you would not do it, because not only would the seller been given a choice, they'd also know it's going to be done or it's not going to be done.
Yes.
And the only thing I can see as a little bit of an issue is if they were to check, no, we do not want you to get access to the attic. Buyers are going to be like, What do you mean? What do you mean we can't have access?
But
to
that's
that?
good.
That's
But
good.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it should be.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll call my friend Wendy Giles. Wendy is up north in Bemidji. She is a fellow Remax agent broker. She's on the forms committee.
Oh,
Yeah, send me her info, please, Ryan, and I will call her on my way home from the studio.
you know, I think we'll
I'm
bridge.
not
I think
kidding.
we'll bridge that introduction.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you better. I can come on a little strong.
It is interesting. Ruben with Structure Tech. They are a company here in the Twin Cities, have been in business a very long time, very highly respected. All the different agencies, brokerages work with Structure Tech. Again, Ruben and his team have done a really nice job of providing information to people to help you make informed decisions as buyers, sellers, as agents. You guys are just really doing a great job. We appreciate everything you do, Ruben.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Addicts, though, I can tell you're passionate about
I'm
it.
passionate about addicts, and I'll tell you what. I have submitted a request to the forms committee to change this.
You have?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
would actually be. I think
did.
it's a very logical change.
And I'm gonna keep submitting this suggestion until it changes.
Yeah, two letters a day until they change.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm going to be very pesky.
We did have a comment again to our random question about the snack on road trips.
Yeah.
This one says cheese sticks, more cheese sticks.
Yes.
More cheese sticks.
Yeah, so we've had fruit snacks, cheese sticks,
Beef jerky,
beef jerky.
high chews.
I choose.
High chews. I'm telling you right now.
Gesundheit.
My listeners, the listeners will help. Well, they will thank me for this. High chews are the best snack.
We've also had a comment of a hot dog. Scott doesn't like hot
Who said
dogs.
hot dog?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
someone said hot dog.
no, I love hot dogs. I just don't eat them because they're not particularly good.
Dennis, you know I'm not going to let you off the hook without your response to this one, Dennis. You're taking a road trip up north. You're heading to the cabin.
Snacks.
Oh,
Marlboro
Cigarettes
snacks.
and Dr. Pepper.
he's
Yeah,
got
we're-
some
Reds.
some smokes. Hey, you know what? That's what we
That's my
love about
snacks.
Dennis. We're going to get brutal honesty. He's going to grab some smokes. Smokes indeed. Guys, I was thinking about, again, driving down here and was talking to Eric Charbot on the team, and we were just talking about the uniqueness of this market again. And, pricing is so important right now. We are seeing what Eric's point is at the beginning of spring. You get the buyers that are super aggressive, want to get at the house. You get the sellers that got their home dialed in and everything. And as we kind of get going through the year, he used the example of you get some sellers that are greedy,
Right.
that they're starting to sit. They're maybe going 25 over what they should be, or 50 over, because they hear that it's a limited inventory market. But because of the 7% rates, buyers are not rushing in the doors. And so market time's increasing.
Well, and think about it this way. For those that haven't listened to the show before, this will be new to you. For those that have listened, they've heard it a lot. But I lost my train of thought. I've been doing that. a
You,
lot.
Scott, I'm
so
getting
sorry.
worried about you.
55 years old. I'll tell
Pricing.
you, anybody out there that's 55 years old, this has happened to me more and more and more. I'll start on a thought and I'll forget it.
Pricing.
It'll
So
come-
pricing overpriced, the $25,000 too much. We'll come back to
yeah,
it.
you'll come back to it. It'll come back.
Hey, before the break though, and as we get Scott's thoughts on that, I do want to hit on a nice one in Farmington, a listing 1309 Larch Street in Farmington for $375. Justin Voss has this one. It is a 3-bed, 3-bath, 2 garage stalls, built in 2000, almost 1,700 finished square feet. Great floor plan, move-in ready. Justin said the HOA provides a playground right behind the house with a swing set and a slide for under $500 a year. The front house offers breathtaking views overlooking a park, pond with fishing, walking paths. Open house today, Saturday. It's June 1st. He's going to be out there 11 to 1 o'clock. Definitely one to touch on. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We're on WCCO, downtown Minneapolis. We're talking fruit snacks, addicts, and price reductions. We'll be back after the break.
So it came back to me.
Came back to you.
Came back to me. So what I was saying along Ryan's point is, here's the thing that you have to understand. So if you go back to 2022, where everything had 25, 30 offers on it, it was crazy. At that time, to have 500 save searches. So I list a home, $450,000 in Farmington, and I would have 500 save searches, which means agents out there have buyers that meet that criteria. So 500 people, which is a lot.
Right.
And at that time in 2022, with rates at 3%, I might have 30 or 40 showings on that house in the first 3 days and 10 to 15 to 20 offers. Okay, that was the market. So that's with about 500 saved searches. The last two-story I had listed in Lakeville had 1,700 saved searches. That means
Holy cow.
that's 3 times the amount that I used to consider.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Used to just consider a crazy, this home's going to blow up.
Yeah.
So those 1,700 buyers are out there looking at it. And on that home, I had 8 showings and 1 offer.
Mm.
So you've got triple the amount of buyers looking at it, means they're still out there. So what, to Charbot's point, what could be holding them back? And it's pricing, it's payment, it's what the value of what they're buying is. So they're still out there hovering, watching. They're just not liking what they're seeing.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting time, interesting market. Drives home the importance more than ever of, I would say, of really working with a good real estate agent on the buying side and the listing side. A lot of maybe newer agents to the industry have never experienced a market where listings don't sell. So now stuff, if it's not selling, your seller's calling you. What are you doing? Are you doing open houses? What's the feedback? Have you been in my attic? Whenever I see you now, I'm going to think about your passion about attics.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Yeah, gotta get up there. And it's our least favorite part of the job. Everybody hates going in an attic, but it's what we're getting paid to do.
I want to ask too, just not to go on a tangent, but the other thing, do you recommend homeowners with sump pumps and with the water line outside the house freezing during winter? Do you recommend 2 separate types of exterior piping for homeowners? In other words, more of kind of a winter version because the pipe ices up and may back up. Is that a common thing?
Oh, it's a very common thing. I had it happen to myself once.
Yeah.
I go down in the basement, I hear this whirring, and like half hour later, I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
It's my sump pump running continuously. They're running all night because I got one of those corrugated things that's filled with ice in the dead of winter. Probably took years off the life of my sump pump. It failed later on that summer. So that's terrible. If that's what you've got, if you've got corrugated stuff running along the lawn, just disconnect it in the fall. It's going to discharge next to your house, but the ground's going to freeze and it's going to run out into the yard. It should be fine. In a perfect world, you're going to have a buried pipe in your yard and you're going to have an air gap where it falls into that pipe and then it discharges to daylight at some lower point. That's a perfect world.
Yeah, it happened to me this winter.
Oh,
yeah.
What was your situation?
Sump pump failed, but again, it was a frozen, and I just didn't do a good job of getting having the winter version on. And I'm like, why have I never done this?
I'll tell you what, when you have a client that's gotten burned by having water back up through a sump pump, they are so cautious on the next home they buy. If there's water in the basket, they're like, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Because they've already had it where the backup failed and they got a bunch of water in the basement, which is not covered by insurance.
Yeah.
And so if you've ever had a person that's gotten hammered with a backed up sump pump, they're hard to sell to.
Here we go. We're going back live on air. Final segment of the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Again, hope your Saturday is going well. Appreciate you joining us here. Thank you so much. Welcome back to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We appreciate you listening each weekend here. I've got a couple questions that came in by text message. Sue Marty, Scott, she's got one. This one just dropped under $1 million, $999,900. It's in Scandia, 10740 230th Street North in Scandia. It is a 28-acre private oasis, 4-bed, 3-bath, hardwood tile floors, large primary bedroom ensuite. And the seller is also offering up $25,000 in incentives to qualified buyers so they can obtain a lower than market interest rate. So again, just drop that one under $1 million, Scott. A very nice, super nice property.
Yeah, Scandia is beautiful too, and 28 acres out there sounds nice.
Hey, had a text. Is it a common practice for a realtor to have a newbie realtor show their houses with no consideration, i.e. travel expense, time involved? Yeah, that's it is not, I would say, if there is showing help. So for example, with our team, the Minnesota Real Estate Team agents, if someone's out of town and they need someone to help, they may say, "Hey, Scott, I'm out today for $50. Can you show my customer these 2 homes this afternoon?" And I would say that occasionally happens, but to do that with no money or consideration, not common at all.
Yeah, and when you're talking about is it common for a newbie, I'm assuming you mean new real estate agent that doesn't have a lot of experience showing you a home. And there are agents that have what are called showing agents or buying showing agents, where because the agent maybe is extremely busy, they have another agent that will show you a home. Now it depends on whether you're working with me and maybe I had one of my agents that could show you something. I'm still going to physically look at the house if it's something you're interested in to move forward. But yeah, I mean, everybody's you're only one person. So if you're working with 10 to 15 buyers and everybody wants to see a home on the same day, obviously you can't do that.
Yeah.
And so having help, but you should still always go back to your primary for advice on what you're going to write and so on.
Yeah, and again, that person is being paid by the main agent for their time, gas, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Ruben, before I forget, best way for people to connect with you, fellow agents, brokers listening, customers listening, anyone that's interested in what you described here today.
Yeah, I'd say best way, go to our website, StructureTech. If you Google StructureTech or you go to StructureTech.com, you will find us. I've got a blog. I write about stuff every week on there. We've got a weekly podcast. We've got a YouTube channel. I mean, my jam is producing content. That's basically what I do day in and day out. I'm not there doing home inspections anymore. I got a team who does that, but I'm putting out a ton of content. You can find it all on our website. There's contact us buttons on there, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, we appreciate you and your great team.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, we really appreciate what you're doing. Love your energy.
And hey, can I throw out one more plug? If there's any real estate agents who need continuing education, I know the deadline is coming up really quickly.
June 30th.
We offer online continuing education. We've got like 7 or 8 classes that are approved by the Minnesota Department of Commerce. It's all on demand. You just take it in your own house. We have the lowest prices possible. If you go to StructureTechCE.com, they're all approved. We've got like probably 18 hours of education.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And they're really good classes.
Yeah, grateful for you. Grateful for you, your
Thanks,
energy. Man. Encourage folks to reach out to Ruben and StructureTech. Scott, last thoughts, buddy?
I think we'll probably have more. I know we have a lot of agents that listen to the show, and of course, everybody's kind of on edge with the lawsuit that's come out that NAR's establishing as far as.
I thought you meant Trump's lawsuit.
Yeah. Well, that'll be our question here coming up. Who's going to win the election now?
Man,
so we definitely don't want to get into that. But yeah, I mean, I think that we'll have some more of that coming on what it's going to mean to Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, Mr. Buyer, Mrs. Buyer, and also to every agent out there. Once we get a little bit more information as we creep towards August 17th.
Yeah, a lot of passion about the NAR settlement,
oh my gosh.
About the Trump conviction. That would just be an enjoyable show, wouldn't it?
It would be. Yeah, we'll never get into the political side, obviously, on this show. You know that, but at some point we will ask who do you think is going to win it? Probably a week before the election.
Yeah,
but we'll stay away from that.
Hey, before we part for the day, I did want to touch on Denise Bieber has a great one in Bloomington, 2261 Overlook Circle for $650,000. She's doing an open house today, Saturday, 12 to 2. And this lot is a 10, she said, 2 acres with lush trees on the bluff overlooking the Minnesota River Valley, 9 Mile Creek, river trails, parks, 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage, wood floors throughout the upper 2 levels, wonderful sun porch taking in all the beauty and wildlife as well. $650,000 for this one at 2261 Overlook Drive. We do appreciate you joining us every Saturday. Ruben Saltzman, StructureTech. Scott Wolmering did a very nice job as well. And again, we're into June 1st. I can't encourage you more so as listeners of the show, plug in with a top real estate agent in this market. It is a unique market, and you really do need a top agent to help you both on the buying side and the listing side. Homes are not just immediately selling right now. You need someone that will help you on marketing, on pricing, guide you through the process. We would love to help. The Minnesota Real Estate Team is here for you. every weekend. Again, appreciate you tuning in to the show. Enjoy the rest of this weekend and the warm weather. Take care, everybody. Thanks, social media. It was a fun one. Love Ruben. Love his energy.
Love you guys.
Last thought, Ruben. Last thought for our for folks on social.
Oh, yeah. If you need your attic inspected, call us up and we'll inspect the heck out of it.
I might say,
Hey, this is a workout guy. Look at the man. You make me feel like I need to work
thanks,
out,
man.
dude. You got those muscles and
trying,
great show,
man.
Bill. Thank you, Bill, for joining us. Scott, you gonna start working out again,
I
man?
have
You
to.
need back to this.
I've been back.
You need
for,
back to
He's
this.
at it.
I've
I
been
know
back.
what he
I've been
does.
back for 3
No,
weeks.
he's a
I've been back
monster.
for 3 weeks.
You notice I'm kind of getting to like Ruben,
Oh my God, ripped. Whenever we talk about Ryan, we're always like, he's just shredded.
and I've been tanning too.
Yes,
Have you?
I've heard some
Yeah.
nice comments.
he only,
Thank
goes,
you.
good.
he only goes in for 30 seconds because he wants to have it build up.
But he
Thank
can't
you.
say he's not tanning.
No.
Thank you for your nice comments on that. Hey, we'll be back next weekend, everybody. Take care, Ruben.
All
Great
right.
job, Scott.
Appreciate it.
Mike
Thanks,
Overson,
everyone.
Illuminate